Hi there, I'm Christine Dunbar from speechmodification.com, and this is my Smart American Accent training. Welcome to our live question and answer class. Each Saturday I host this class, and in order for you to be able to ask your questions about American accent, English pronunciation, anything to help you become more fluent and confident when speaking English. At the beginning, we usually cover a topic related to sounds and spelling or pronunciation. Today, I want to talk a little bit about pronunciation and meaning, language use, with some phrases for different ways to say no in English. Do feel free to ask your questions at any time by putting them in the chat, or if you're watching this later, not as a live broadcast, you can leave questions in the comments. I do go back through and answer those for you, give you links and resources for more information. So, of course, when we're speaking English, we often have to say no. Sometimes we just say no by itself. And I've rewritten that here for you with the letters OH, because when we say no, we do have that diphthong O in that word. So watch out that you don't want to just use the single O sound, no. That's going to sound a little bit short, like no. And Americans might interpret that as you're angry or something's wrong. So just hold your O a little longer, no, when you're saying no in English. Another way to say no in English is to say nope, which is more casual, and it's basically the O sound with a P at the end. No or nope, nope. Nope rhymes with words like rope or soap, so we could rewrite it like this, like the word soap. Usually that O diphthong is spelled with just O, like no, with O with an E at the end, like nope or rope, or with OA like soap or road. So this road, drive on the road, and this road, I rode my bike, have the same pronunciation. So that diphthong O, the most common ways of spelling it are with two vowel letters or just the one O. Besides no and nope, another way we say no in English is to say no way. This is a little more emphatic, like absolutely not, no way. Nope is a little more casual or can be humorous. No way is more emphatic, like absolutely not. There's no way I'm going to do that. Or can you loan me $5,000? No way. And there's not anything too tricky about pronouncing no way, except that we tend to stress both words, and the primary stress is on the way. So it would be, you can see how I've marked that here. No way, no way. Way is a little bit more important than no in this phrase. No way. There's no way I'm doing that. Another casual way of saying no is to say nuh-uh. So for yes, we say uh-huh, uh-huh. And for no, we say nuh-uh, nuh-uh. And again, we may stress more on the than the nuh-uh, nuh-uh. You can kind of stress either way here. Typically, we stress on both the nuh and the and both of these have the schwa sound. So there's, this is not something we write. This is how I would spell it to represent the sounds most easily, nuh-uh. So that would be something we use in connected speech. For example, did you hear about that? Nuh-uh. No, I didn't, nuh-uh. So anyway, that's probably not something that you would learn about in many classes, but you probably do hear it when you're speaking with native speakers of American English, and it's helpful to be able to incorporate some different ways of saying no. Nope, no way, nuh-uh, no, etc. Of course, there are more, but these are just some of the basics that might be helpful for you. Okay, let's turn to your questions. And it's nice to see so many of you here. Do feel free to leave your questions at any time in the comments. Doesn't have to be related to how we say no. So we have a question for how to say the word sober. So let's cover that. So for sober, we have first syllable stress. There's our O again. So it's a diphthong. We're holding that longer as well. And then the letters ER just say that unstressed sound. So I would rewrite that like sober. Almost no vowel there. This is the same one we have in bird or in burden or burger. So we spell that different ways. ER, IR, UR. You might write it as just how it's spelled here, sober. Not too complicated for the spelling there, but again, you might find it challenging to do that R sound, sober. Great question. Thank you so much. All right, not a lot of questions yet so far this morning. Do feel free to ask yours when you have them, and I'll talk about some other recent questions that have come up from our viewers. So we had a question about how to pronounce Yosemite. Yosemite. So this is one of the national parks in the U.S. Yosemite has second syllable stress. We have our O there again. So we'll have the Y sound from letter Y, our O, and then stress on the SEM with an E. And then Yosemite, we have a schwa here or an I sound here. The T is going to be flapped, and then our last E is actually going to say the E sound, Yosemite. So I would write that like here, like this. Yosemite. Or Yosemite. I probably use an I here in this unstressed syllable for the I. So you might find it easier to use a schwa there, just to think of it as being very short. And Yosemite, we may also reduce this first O to more of an sound. Yeah, Yosemite. So I'm biased by seeing the Y-O, but Yosemite. Yosemite, you can really reduce that first syllable as well. Great, good question. Thank you so much. We have a question about whether or not we pronounce the H in annihilation. Annihilation. I think that I usually don't. Let's use the dictionary though to double check what they recommend. So I like using online dictionaries because I can look at the symbols. I can also listen to the sounds. And the dictionary that I would recommend is the Oxford Learner's Dictionary. And what I would say is if you're looking for where to find that, if you are on speech modification and you go to our on our homepage, we have the free practice area. And if you go to online practice free trial, you'll see there's a search box here. You can type in your question, your word, your sound you're looking at. So I'm going to type in dictionary and click on the search. And it's going to pull up all of the lessons and related materials to the dictionary. So you see there's quite a few. This one here, just a general topic using online dictionaries, has some links to some dictionaries that I like and some information about how to use them. So the Oxford Learner's Dictionary is nice because it'll show you the British English as well as the American English, which is often helpful if you may have learned the British pronunciation. So your question about annihilation is, we'll go two N's, annihilation. So annihilation, there's no H pronunciation there. So you can see that they have the ni stressed, annihilation. And if you can't read the symbols, you'll begin to learn them as you go, but you can see there's no letter H, which is the symbol for the sound, annihilation. I can also listen, and you'll see this blue is the British and the pink is the American English. Annihilation or annihilation. Not too different there actually in the pronunciation, just a little bit of a different tone in those two accents. So thank you, great question on that word. We have a question about the words tight and weight. So for tight, we have the IGHT, just like in words right and night. Sometimes people rewrite these like this to show again that we have that I saying its name. For the symbols, you'll see this as the I diphthong and just a T. So the GH are silent in this word. I do have a video talking about other examples of when GH is silent versus when it has a sound in different words. I would just rewrite it probably like this to think about that I sound. Make sure that you hold your I a long time. Tie, tight. So it might be helpful for you to think of the word tie first and then adding a T, tight. Versus wait. Again, we have a silent GH in this word. That has the same pronunciation as this word, wait, and one syllable. This EI says the A diphthong, which, again, I could rewrite it this way, wait, just like the 8 sound. But yeah, that's the pronunciation. So your A diphthong, it may also help you here to say the A by itself, way, and then add your T. Way, wait, tie, tight. Both of those have that diphthong followed by the T sound. Great question. These are ones that definitely spelling can be a little bit tricky, and visualizing it with the sounds with a different spelling might be helpful for you. Thanks for that suggestion. Okay, wonderful. Let's talk a little bit more about I want to talk a little bit about the letter Y. So letter Y can say different things. At the start of words, it often says the Y sound, like in yes and yellow, and it functions more as a consonant sound. At the ends of words, like city or really, it often says the E sound, and it functions like a vowel, city, really. And in some other words, where it's in the middle of the word, it can function as an I sound, like in gym or mystery. I would rewrite those like gym and mystery. I guess here's an example of the I and the E in one. So the Y is a consonant letter that substitutes for vowel sounds and this gliding consonant sound, the Y sound. I plan on covering this and giving you some more details and additional words that have the Y. But it's one of the sounds to watch out for. And again, being able to read that in the dictionary and see that what sound it makes can be very helpful. Okay, great. We have a request to upload videos to Instagram. I do have an Instagram. It's speech modification. I don't have very many videos on there yet, but I may start uploading some. And you can also find sometimes these videos, I will upload them to Facebook as well. Primarily though, YouTube is my main resource, and my website, speechmodification.com. So if YouTube is difficult for you to access, I know that's true for some people, you can find resources and videos on some of my social media, as well as our website, speechmodification.com. Okay, we have a question about 3-word phrasal verbs such as come up with, look up to. What do we normally stress? This is a great question. So for 2 words, if I just say, for example, look up or look out, we stress on the preposition rather than the verb, because that's what gives the phrasal verb its meaning. So if I just say look, look is more important. It's a content word. But look up, I have to stress on up because I need to know what the meaning is and which phrase I'm using. So we stress on the up. But what you're asking about is when there's 3, for example, look up to, I look up to her. I'm still stressing on up in that case. I look up to her. I look up to the leader, etc. And then also for your other question, come up with, same thing. So come up with, we need to come up with some examples of 3-word phrasal verbs. Very good question. I've covered phrasal verbs a little bit in some of my recent videos. I do have one about look out, the phrasal verb, versus look out, the noun. And I plan to cover some more details on that in a future video. But thank you so much for that. Great question. So still stressing on the first of the 2 prepositions. So look up and look up to. Same kind of rhythm there. Different meaning though, of course. Thank you. That's a great question. All right. Hi, Mauricio. Nice to see you. He has a question about anytime. So anytime I talk to him, anytime. Basically, this letter A is going to be the eh sound, like in many or men, even though we spell it with A. So any, we could rewrite that like this, like the any in penny, or we could write it like any time. For our time, I'm not going to respell that because the E makes the I say its name. So anytime. I think we have stress on any and anytime. Any, probably secondary stress on time. Anytime. Anytime you'd like, you can watch one of my videos. Great. And then the H sound in harbor was Mauricio's second question. Harbor. So yeah, we do have the word arbor, right, as well, with no H sound. So that might be helpful to have that contrast. Arbor just has the R, and then harbor, it's going to be similar to like a word like hard, where you have to let the air flow for the H sound. Harder, harbor. So I would just rewrite that one probably as burr, or there's our, or burr. That's the same burr we had earlier when we were talking about another word that had the burr at the end. Unusual spelling, harbor. Some people, I would say, maybe have more of an or there, harbor. Not really though. You want to use that reduced sound because it has first syllable stress. So har is stressed and burr is short. And if it's hard to put the H sound on, exaggerate it a little bit. Let some more airflow. Harbor. Or it's hard to find the harbor. Associating it with another word with har might be helpful for you. Great question. Thank you. And nice to see you. Okay. Wonderful. Okay, so I think we'll wrap up there for today. Unless you have a question and you're watching and you haven't asked it yet, I'll give you a moment to add those in. I just want to talk a little bit about some other resources for you. So as you saw earlier on speechmodification.com, we do have many free lessons for you here. And in our website, you can see the free lessons here in the free practice area, and you can use the search box to find what you're looking for. Some of them are video related, some of them have audio files and explanations. You can also search on the categories, so you can look up, for example, your native language, or if you're interested in linking or specific sounds and topics, you can look at that there. And I'm also going to suggest that if you are on our homepage, you can see we have online courses. I often talk about those in my Word of the Day videos. And you can go to our courses page and look and see. So all of our online courses are, I keep them very inexpensive so that they can be a good resource for you regardless of what your budget is. Our Sounds of English course is a great foundation course teaching you all of the different sounds of English, how things are spelled, what common words they're in, accent patterns to watch out for. So it's a really good way to build a strong foundation to be confident in pronouncing any word that you want. And then our American Accent 6-week course is a great starting point for getting a little bit more information about modifying your speech, changing your accent overall. Then, of course, we also have some free courses. Our Word of the Day course is free and our mini course is free. So both of those are really good to help you kind of walk through and learn more about what areas you can do more with. And then when we have some specific courses for specific languages, as well as our Real Talk course, which is more focused on fluent speech, linking, and reductions. So for those of you who are looking to move beyond just pronunciation and more into accent and how to sound more like a native speaker, that's a good resource for you as well. So I hope you'll check out the website. As well as here on YouTube, you can use the search tools on our channel page and find videos, or the easiest way is probably to leave me a comment or a question, and I will give you a link for free resources here on the channel as well as on the website. So do take advantage of that. I go through all of the comments and respond, try to help you out as much as I can. Okay, a couple more questions and then we will wrap up for today. So we have a question about patterns for stressed syllables, and basically my videos that talk about syllable stress will break down for you some of the common words, but basically you need to learn how to use a dictionary to understand what the syllable stress is in a word. So for example, let's just look at, we have the next question, someone's asking about extraordinary, so we'll combine your two questions. So for extraordinary, if we're just looking at ordinary, the stress there would be, the stress is on the or syllable. And so when you look in the dictionary for the stress, you'll see that there's a marker before the stress syllable. So ordinary is stressed on the or. Ordinary. So we have 4 syllables. Ordinary. Length and clear vowel on that stressed syllable. Then the unstressed syllables may have reduced vowels and they're going to be shorter. Extraordinary, as the viewer pointed out, we have 2 different ways of pronouncing it. So we can have extraordinary, which is just basically adding the stress for extra. So if I had extra by itself, the stress here is on the X syllable. So we would have extra, and that sounds like extra. So clear vowel on the X syllable, unstressed reduced vowel on the tra syllable. Again, just looking for that stress marker is going to tell you where the stress is. There are really no set patterns for syllable stress in English. It depends on where the word came from. You can find there are, one of the things that you can count on is words that have ation are going to be stressed on the A syllable. So organization, communication, nation, the clear A, shun, the second to last syllable, the A is going to be stressed. Other than that, there's not a lot of rules that you can count on for syllable stress. So you need to be able to look up patterns and groups of words. And, because words came into English from Latin, from French, from Germanic, from Old English. So unfortunately, there's not just some rules that you can learn to know what syllable is stressed. You just also can develop your ear for hearing where the pattern is. I often use the clear vowels, like if I'm saying about, for example, the word banana, it's short, long, short, banana, thinking about the ba, ba. Being able to listen for where you hear that stretched. The more you get familiar with English and patterns, you begin to be able to hear and recognize stress patterns when you're listening. But if you can't hear it and rely on it, then you can look up words in the dictionary. So back to the 2 ways to pronounce extraordinary. One way is to pronounce extraordinary. extraordinary. It would still be stressed on the or syllable. So that would look like extra or nary. But that's less common. More typical would be to say extraordinary, where we get rid of this we have secondary stress here on the X. So it would be extraordinary. Extraordinary. That might be harder for you because there you have to do the tror or roar, the R with an or after it. But I would say if you build or, roar, tror, extraordinary, it is typically sounds more natural, and I would say more people use that than extraordinary because we tend to reduce that syllable of extra. Okay, so hopefully that answered both your syllable stress question and talking about the two pronunciations for extraordinary. Thank you. Great questions from both of you. Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much, everybody, for being a part of our live class today. It was great to have your questions, and I look forward to seeing you again in our Word of the Day classes coming up tomorrow and every day next week. As well as next Saturday, we'll have another live question and answer class. We'll probably be talking about spelling and sounds, and I'll be taking your requests, of course, in that class as we go. So thanks so much. If you're watching again as a replay, you can leave your comments and questions on this video or any of my videos, and I'll direct you to resources to help you answer. Check out our online courses on speechmodification.com, and of course, keep coming to our classes, commenting, liking, and sharing. It really does help the channel grow, and it helps show YouTube that you value this content. I do very much appreciate your comments, questions, likes, and thanks so much for those of you who have subscribed and joined as channel members. I really appreciate your support. I'm Christine Dunbar from speechmodification.com. Remember, if you want to sound like a native speaker, you can do it. speechmodification.com. Bye, everyone. Hope to see you again soon.